Dreaming of playing college baseball but just don't know where to start? You're not alone. Getting noticed by college recruiters can feel like a mystery. Stick around and I'll show you how to turn that dream into a reality. I'm Evan Mendoza. I have 7 years of pro baseball experience between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. I spent 3 years at NC State University while studying aerospace engineering, and I was on varsity all 4 years of my high school baseball career. Today, I'm here to guide you on the journey for college baseball success. If you're serious about playing college baseball, I put together a free 27-page recruiting blueprint. Grab it in the description below. It's going to be your step-by-step guide on how to get recruited. All right, so let's get into it. So the first thing that you really need to understand is the recruiting process, right? And if you don't understand the process, you're never going to understand what you need to do at a certain given time. So as you can see in this timeline, we have freshman year, we have senior year, we have sophomore year, and we have junior year as well. More than likely, you fit into this timeline somewhere, right? Maybe you're here, maybe you're here, maybe you're here, right? Everyone comes to me at a different stage in their high school journey. So it's my job to really assess where you're currently at and of course create an action plan moving forward, right? So let's say, for example, you're a sophomore, because this is a really critical time, all right? Freshman year, it's more or less about your physical skills, right? This is when we want to develop, we want to understand our bodies a little bit more, we want to become an athlete in the gym, understanding gym movements, that's all great. But as far as recruiting, it kind of starts to pick up sophomore year, because guess what? August 1st of our junior year, this is when college coaches can finally respond to us, right? They can actually communicate with us, they can actually respond to our emails that we're sending out. But what should we be doing our sophomore year? Because this is a question that I get asked a lot. So sophomore year, this is ultimately when I instruct all my students to send over a blank canvas to these college coaches. And what do I mean by that? Well, every email that you send over to a college coach, you're sending over a blank canvas, and the college coach, let's say they're an artist, trying to paint out the Mona Lisa, right? And you are the Mona Lisa, right? You are the student athlete trying to play in college. And if these college coaches only have a stick figure of who you are, I hate to break it to you, but they're not gonna give you any type of offer. They're not gonna show any interest, because that's just not enough, right? So the college coach's job in the recruiting process is to brushstroke after brushstroke really understand who you are, right? And this is going to be, you have the shoulders, you have whatever, you have a smile. They understand your personality. They understand, the competition level. And all of a sudden, brushstroke after brushstroke, aka every time you send an email to these college coaches, they are understanding. They might even be putting in some color into this painting, right? By the end of the recruiting process, ideally, and then maybe this is what it looks like around this point in time in between your junior or senior year, they have a full picture of who you are, right? But a lot of you guys think you're going to get a scholarship or you're going to get any offers by having just a simple stick figure, right? That's not the case, right? This develops over time. They're going to see you multiple times, and that's exactly what happened with me. The NC State recruiting coordinator, Chris Hart, he saw me multiple times before giving me an offer, right? So what can we do this sophomore season maybe coming up? This is the off season coming up right now. Time of recording, it's December 2nd, 2024. So hopefully this video stays on YouTube forever. So this is going to be ancient history, but ideally sophomore year, this is a great time to start sending off some emails. And I'm not saying you have to send off an email every single day to the same coach just to make sure that they see your videos. This is a good time to really just put feelers out there and make sure a lot of college coaches know who you are. And there's ways to track that, right? That way, August 1st of our junior year, we have a couple of phone calls ready to go. And this is a story I love to tell, because August 1st is a huge day in recruiting. Obviously, the rules have been changing, and the rules more than likely will be changing because the whole landscape of recruiting changes constantly. But August 1st, you should be, if you're doing the recruiting process right, just like I was in the Mall of America, I think it's called, in Orlando, and I had like 4 or 5 D1 coaches call me up as my sister and mom were shopping, and I thought it was just a really cool experience that these college coaches were excited to speak to me because I was uncommitted. I also just, that deadline, I don't know if deadline's the right word, but they were able to actually contact me. So they wanted to show their interest and basically say like, hey, I just wanted to see what was up with you. What are you doing? I told them I was at the mall, and then basically just developed a further relationship with them. So that's the goal. If you're a sophomore right there, is you're really aiming for August 1st for a scenario like that to happen. I see a lot of people, maybe you're right here. You haven't sent a single email and you have this tiny amount of time to land college offers. So, what are we going to do about that? Well, first and foremost, we have to really self assess who we are and what we bring to the table. And the foundational layer of a pyramid that we ultimately need to build to reach this height of college baseball, we need to have a really, really strong base, right? The wider that base, the more skill we have, the bigger the pyramid we're able to actually build, right? The next thing we need to make sure that we're taking care of are the academics, right? The academic side of things, obviously getting it done in the classroom. This is, GPA, this is SAT, this is ACT, right? These are, showing that we are responsible student athletes away from the field for ultimately the things that do matter, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. And then obviously the last part of this pyramid really is our character, right? Our character is huge, guys. And just like I told you, Chris Hart, he didn't give me an offer from the very first step because he wanted to paint that picture of who I was. And our character, let's just throw it as an attribute of the color that I added into that canvas, right? If we're adding in color, that's our character. And guess what? There's bad character people in baseball, there's good character people in baseball. And that's just the truth, right? Not everyone's going to be, perfect, with the media, especially in pro ball, right? You see some guys that disrespect the media, disrespect the game, disrespect their teammates, disrespect the other team, and might not be the best clubhouse guys. And this really just brings me to the point. I was watching the Boston Red Sox Netflix special, The Comeback, and they were talking about acquiring Kevin Millar. And he's obviously a great clubhouse guy, kept it loose with everyone. He, created the phrase "cowboy up," and that's something that he might not have been the best skilled player, but his character got him to that highest level of obviously professional baseball. He's not trying to play college with that character, but that's something that he was able to do to really build up that pyramid nice and wider by maybe the lack of skill that he had. He made up for it with that character, and he was able to build a taller pyramid because he had that great character. So that's why it's just always, always important to be a good teammate. Show that you care with your teammates, hang out with your teammates, things like that. But in this video, we're talking about college recruiting. So, obviously that character does play a part if you land a scholarship or not. Obviously, having good grades is important as well, but really being a good baseball player is that foundational layer. So really, what's next? After you build out a good skill set, you take care of everything in the classroom, you're also, a good teammate, you show that character. Well, what if I told you you need to focus on the yellow section of this circle, of this pie graph? I think that's what they call it back in school. That's what they taught me. What if, I told you, hey, now all you need to do is just focus on this yellow section, because this yellow section is not only going to get you to D1, but it's also going to give you the opportunity to play professional baseball. Any guesses on what that yellow section is? Well, it's the mental game, right? Because the mental game is 90% of this game that we love to play, because there's a ton of failure. And as you guys have seen in the World Series and things like that, there are star players like an Aaron Judge that fail a lot. And how you deal with that failure is ultimately a huge test on who you are as a baseball player, right? There's going to be ups and downs. Ultimately, we want to be more or less the thermostat and not the weather. We don't want to have huge ups and downs, peaks and valleys. We want to stay as consistent as possible. And the way that we do that is by building out a good mental game and a mental strategy for when failure hits. Because guess what? It's going to hit, right? For everyone, it hits at some point in time. This other section, this is going to be our skill set, right? Because our skill can get us so far, but really if we have a strong mindset, we're going to not only play the game in a different competitiveness, but really we're going to be practicing with a different level of why we're actually doing certain exercises and how to do it the right way, right? There's a lot of people that are skill set, we're athletic, we have the skills to be able to do what we want to do, but we just go through the motions in practice. So we're not really adding in that mental side of the game. We're not really putting our best foot forward, because guess what? The mental side is huge. So when we're able to mesh the physical and mental together, that's where we're able to develop and optimize all of our training off of the field, and then it's going to carry over to the field. Now it's time to take action. Download the free recruiting blueprint in the description to jumpstart your journey. And if you're ready to work one-on-one with me inside my Mendoza Baseball Academy, book a call with me. I'd love to make your college baseball dream a reality.